Hey, if you want to know 5 natural ways to protect yourself from the coronavirus and also increase your testosterone, then stay tuned because today what I'm going to talk about is the ESEIS 25 method for increasing your testosterone and preventing you from getting the coronavirus. And the ESEIS system is ESEIS 25. And hey, my name is Brian, aka Uncle B, and for the last 20 years, I've been the performance coach with African Fly, the liquid aphrodisiac. And today, what I'm specifically going to talk about is how to track the 5 most effective ways to increase your testosterone and how that can affect your ability to prevent catching or getting ill from the coronavirus. And as a bonus, I'm going to give you the biggest piece of information you need to understand about the coronavirus. And as always, if you like what you hear, go and subscribe, hit the like bell, hit the notification button. And what I'm going to do is break this down till it cannot be broken anymore. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the coronavirus. I'm sure you've heard a lot about this information. It's all over the news right now. So the coronavirus, specifically COVID-19, is a respiratory illness that can spread from person to person. Your risk of getting infected goes up higher if you're in close proximity to a person who's infected. It spreads when an infected person coughs and the droplets are in the air and it gets into your body through your face, through your lungs, through your breathing. And also if those droplets hit the surface and you touch that surface, then you touch your face, you increase your chance of getting the coronavirus. The symptoms are fever, cough, and shortness of breath. So the older you are, the more susceptible you can be to this. And also if you have some serious medical conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, or lung infection. And basically, your immune system isn't strong just because you're young, just because you don't smoke and just because you don't drink. Your immune system, those are things that, drinking and smoking don't help, but being young doesn't nullify you from catching this disease. Your immune system needs to be strong. So these are the things you can do to prevent it from an external factor. So we're talking about avoiding contact with people who are sick, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, which is actually more difficult than you may think. Stay home if you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue and then throw it out. Clean and disinfect regularly used objects around your household with disinfectant. Wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds, especially after going to the bathroom or before you eat. And you should be doing that anyway. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizer when the soap and water isn't near. And do not use a mask unless you already have the coronavirus or you're dealing with someone who has it near you, because if you have a mask on, you'll end up touching your face trying to adjust that mask, and that's not as helpful. So let's talk about, I think, one of the more important parts of this, which is the internal prevention, because you can do everything in terms of like washing your hands, hand sanitizer, blah, blah, blah. But if you catch the disease, it's better for your health if you're healthier, if your immune system is better. So let's talk about how you can improve your immune system. And by the way, that's also improving your testosterone, because the best defense is a strong immune system. The ESEIS 25 is a tracking system for monitoring your daily habits in terms of what you're doing to improve your health. The system helps you monitor the 5 most important areas in terms of your testosterone and your immune system. It helps you understand where you are and what you are doing to get to your goal. And just to break it down, ESEIS stands for energy, sleep, exercise, intermittent fasting, and soul. Let me break that down really quick. Energy is everything that you consume. We're talking about the food and the drink, and there's only 2 food groups. I've talked about this before. There's only live food and dead food. Live food is fruits and vegetables. Dead food are animals and everything that's processed and packaged. Sleep. Sleep is very important. Obviously, the more sleep you get, not only the stronger your immune system, but also you actually think better. Exercise, lifting heavy, doing high intensity interval training are 2 ways that you can increase your testosterone greatly. Intermittent fasting, which is basically you're only eating for an 8-hour window. You're not eating for 16 hours. Basically, you're skipping breakfast. That is a way to increase your testosterone greatly. And your soul. When we're talking about your soul, we're talking about de-stressing. What are the things that you can do to de-stress, all the way, including avoiding calling that girl you're not supposed to call, up to doing yoga, sunbathing, using a sauna, just relaxing, meditating. So that's how you use the ESEIS system, by understanding exactly what's going on and tracking it daily. And let me break down that tracking system. Go ahead and get a diary get a calendar, just get something that you're writing on and you can look at consistently and just get to easily, consistently. And for every area that you're doing well in, you get 5 points, in order to get a total of 25 if you're doing everything correctly. Now, the great thing about this, it is flexible to fit into your lifestyle, because we may be in just different places. For me, it's easy for me to, work it out so I can get 8 to 9 hours of sleep. For some guys out there, you got kids, you got the job, and that's just not going to work. But if you're sleeping for 5 hours and you get to 6 hours, then that's how you get your 5 points for the sleeping aspect of it. So you want to go ahead and set up your goals and go for that particular goal. You lose points if you do negative things, if you're drinking, if you're smoking a bunch of weed, if you're just stressing out. That's how you lose points in this system. The soul area is where you can actually make up, because obviously you're not going to exercise every day. I mean, you could, but if you're the day that you're not exercising, if you go ahead and throw in doing some yoga, sunbathing, doing some meditation, hell, even just taking a nap, whatever it takes for you to de-stress, you can add an extra 5 points onto the soul side of things. So let's go ahead and break down what this scores mean. So if you got a 0 to 10, basically just doing 2 things, then you're in a negative space. You're on a downward spiral. You're not helping your health. A 15 means you're maintaining. Everything is going smoothly. However, over a period of time, you're maintaining. I mean, you're just going downward slowly. A 20 means that you're gaining testosterone, and a 25 means you're gaining testosterone even faster. And let me just break down the reason why these work so effectively. So when we're talking about energy, we're talking about the food that you consume that has the greatest impact on your testosterone and on your immune system. If you're eating sugar, if you're drinking milk, if you're eating meat products, your testosterone levels start going down. When you sleep, that is when your testosterone is produced. So if you're a guy who's sleeping for 4 hours as compared to a guy who's sleeping for 8 hours, the guy who's sleeping for 8 hours has 60% more testosterone. That's a lot. As far as exercise, high intensity interval training and heavy lifting has been shown to increase your testosterone greatly. We're talking about high intensity interval training. We're talking about increasing from, if you're doing steady state at 60% testosterone building, high intensity interval training, 97%. That's a huge jump. And intermittent fasting, talked about this several times. If you're doing intermittent fasting, your testosterone levels can go up by 180%. And the soul side of things, if you're lowering your cortisol is what can change your testosterone into estrogen. So you want your cortisol levels to be low. Your cortisol levels are high, your testosterone levels are low. So the more you're relaxed, the higher your testosterone. So here's that bonus that I was talking about, and basically is do not stress over coronavirus. Understand, it is new. We're trying to figure it all out. However, there are a huge number of ways to die outside of the coronavirus. Yes, it's new. We keep looking at the news. It seems like it's just growing incredibly fast, when in reality, cancer kills way more people. We're talking about 26,000 people a day. At this point with the coronavirus, we're talking about 108 people a day. All deaths are not good, but do not stress yourself into a situation where you're just thinking about this. You're looking at it all the time. You're not actually helping your health by stressing about something that is a very small possibility of you catching. The reason why we pay more attention to COVID-19 or the coronavirus instead of just the regular flu, which they're in the same family, is because 1, it's new, and 2, the mortality rate, the death rate for people who catch coronavirus right now stands at between 2 and 3%, whereas with the flu is 0.1%. So yes, pay attention. You don't want to catch it, but at the same time, if your immune system is great, you have a much better chance of avoiding it and surviving it. In conclusion, the coronavirus is an infectious disease where people with weak immune systems are more susceptible to it. Avoid people who are sick and large crowds, and wash your hands frequently. We're talking about for 20 seconds. Use the ESEIS 25 system to track what you're doing every day. Get your points up to 25, and you will have a much higher testosterone level and immune system. Do not stress over the coronavirus. There are a bunch of other illnesses that you have to watch out for. Cancer, stroke, diabetes. These things are already here. So question of the day, if you're using the ESEIS 25 system and you are measuring yourself, what would your score be? What would your score be from yesterday? Leave that in the comment section below. And as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so we can get some more of this information to you. And be sure to sign up for the webinar series below where I will go deeper into the ESEIS 25 system just to break it all the way down for you. As always, please share and check out the other videos we have. And this is Uncle B saying, get your game up. Peace out.